also see their structure activity relationship, and also to do some initial testing and find some potential candidates. Afterwards, then the industry takes it forward and then goes with other partners from the other private sectors. So as far as the government research institutions concerned, they're very active in the preliminary drug development area, where the number of collaborative programs are offered on that. And also the number of patents are taken at the time, and where the institutes also put money for filing these patents and also maintaining these patents. And there are several cases where the patents are filed together with the companies which sponsored the research on that. And another important contribution the government institutions are making is in the term of developing novel process or cost-effective process for synthesizing these new drugs or new drug molecules. Sometimes these molecules require in kilo levels, and you require a reasonably good process to make it. All this help can be provided by the government institutions. Now, coming to this, Government of India has several programs with the Department of Science and Technology and Department of Biotechnology, which are focused towards drug development, because drug development is extremely important research area, not only for the private sector industry, but also for the government. Now, we have a very special program for drug development program, for which the Planning Commission has put at any time about 150 to 200 crores money as a sort of a corpus fund. And this is basically to encourage research by the industry in collaboration with research institutions, or even with their own research departments on that. Several companies have taken funds from this for developing the drugs in the, at least I can say that in the preliminary phase, and also to some extent on the lead optimization level. So these programs again will help you, because they are given in the form of soft loans, hardly about 3% interest. So that again reduces the cost of borrowing funds by the private sector. And also now Government of India is also going to have a similar patent system here, in which the government is not going to be a partner in the patent, and the patent rights are fully given to the institutions which are doing the research work on the similar lines as Bayh-Dole Act of United States of America. So like that, these programs are, Department of Biotechnology has also program. There are also programs for development of a novel process, both in Department of Biotechnology and Department of Science and Technology. So what I would like to mention is that there are several opportunities available for taking assistance from public funded institutions as well as government for partly funding the research and bring down the cost of the research. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raghavan. Dr. Gupta, one of the areas of your work is second-tier innovation and branded generics. What I would like to ask you, for the benefit of our panel as well as our audience, is that a lot of companies want to say that they want to stick to limited competition products. Even within the generic space, they don't want to make products that everyone else is making. Does that mean that a huge number of everyday medicines are going to disappear? That 5 years from now, there won't be any paracetamol tablets or ampicillin tablets? Or will they come in new and improved versions?
Thank you. I don't think so any of these drugs are going to disappear. There will be enough supply available. It's my firm belief, whether you want improved medications, you want better formulations, better safety profiles, yes. People will continue to look into development of better dosage forms and better delivery systems. But these, I don't think so because of a desire. There is a huge generic market out there, even in the US. If I tell you that the percentage of prescriptions written and filled, which are generic, anybody wants to make a guess? It's 80% is the generics which are filled when the prescription is written in the US. So they are not going away. They will remain. Of course, there will be a need for safer and improved formulations. You know, a lot of companies have 505(b)(2) strategies or different ways of bringing molecules, the same old molecules, forward. The benefit of that is that you reduce your risk because you know the drug works. What you're trying to do is trying to improve the outcome. So I'm very, very confident that all these drugs which you are afraid of getting out of the market, unless there is a safety risk, I don't think so that's going to happen in near future. or anytime soon. That's my personal view. But I do want to mention one more thing about the business models and things. I think innovation here can happen. I agree with Rick very much. Companies here are capable, like Pfizer. We are working with a number of companies here, and we are producing development candidates. I mean, there are press releases out there. I think with the right partner, with the right infrastructure, as I said, with the right collaborative mindset, you can produce novel drugs from India. I have no doubts in the near future.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Mr. Venkat Jasti. One of the questions to you is, how supportive is the regulatory environment in India? At one point, we were told that clinical trials used to take more than 6 months to get the DCGI permission. I'm sure a lot of people here in this audience have had personal experience of that. The other part of it is, we understand phase 1 trials in drugs which have been developed abroad up to the preclinical stage. If they are being done only in India, they are not allowed. Mr. Jasti, can you clarify the position?
Yeah, the regulatory environment here is much to be desired. And as Cyrus has said, it has a long way to go and catch up. And this is one of our association's greatest debacle, not convincing the government to go forward. And but at the same time, things are moving, and the new regime that has come has a positive frame of mind, but it will take a little bit time. I think, but the time will not wait, especially in the drug discovery. So that's our dilemma. As far as the phase 1 is concerned, if it is done outside for phase 1, and they cannot, I mean, phase 1 for outside molecules in India is not allowed yet. I think with the change in the regulatory regime, that will also come into the picture, because they realize that the same thing, that unless that is happening here, the speed will not take place. I think that's one of the reasons why India is not being chosen as many of these partners, even though they do the early drug discovery programs. And the other problem we face is this vigilantism by the many people that not in my backyard, saying that let the medicines be, why we had to do the clinical trials here. So this is becoming a challenge, not only for the industry, but also for the government. So we are in an era where we need to get these things done, and then I think, but we are in the positive frame of mind, both the regulators, even though they need to update themselves, and which they are doing now. Hopefully, it will be sooner than later.
Dr. Raghavan has a question for you, sir. So,
yeah, I'd like to mention that Dr. Jasti is running one of the very few research companies in India, R&D companies. The company product is research. There's no drug manufactured by the company or new drug. I'd like to ask Dr. Jasti one thing. When you talk about cost effectiveness of research, how are you managing the cost effectiveness of your research? Because your product itself is research and development.
Oh, there is no cost effectiveness here, because when it's not being sold, you cannot tell what is happening. But what happens is, to develop a drug and to bring it to the next level of operation, I mean, the time we take to develop the drug, I think that's where the question is. If it takes naturally 1 year, if you reduce it to 9 months, I mean, you're reducing the time frame, which if you collaborate with a big pharma and again reduce that by providing the total services in one place rather than the tech transfer being done again, where if you don't have after certain period, you need to do the tech transfer, and that takes a long time. And if you have the same capability here along with them and doing the protocol writing and whatever it is, and you do that, and that saves another time. So as Richard was telling before, it has to be a collaborative way, and in the collaborative way, you need to move into the value chain, not just what you're doing right now, a small piece of the activity. You need to move to the next level and grow along with the knowledge you gain through the collaboration and offer the services. So the process is is not just the cost effectiveness, but the cost effectiveness will come from the time reduction. It is not a commodity, so we are not quantifying this as a cost effectiveness that way, but we are quantifying this as a time reduction in the total life cycle, in the development cycle.
Okay. Dr. Connell, one question to you, and then I would like to throw the floor open for any questions for any of the panelists. The question is this. We talked earlier about companies slashing R&D budgets and how they are to be utilized. It is also a fact that Western governments